Mesachas Beitzah Chof Ches. Beitzah Zilberstein is Hefech Chashuk Echemed. He declares an interesting question. What's the halacha if someone's missing leichter, doesn't have leichter to light on yontif? Could he cut out from a potato a place to hold a candle on yontif? Is that mutter or not? So he says that he asked his shver Rabbi Yashiv, and Rabbi Yashiv says that it's mavur in the Gemara Daf Lamed Gimel, the ochel behema, that means the food item that's edible for an animal or any food item doesn't have a issa of tikun kli. However, Rabbi Yashiv said that if you make food into a light and you light a candle, light oil in a potato, the potato is going to become moist and it's not going to be royal achila. So therefore, it has a chasar of tikun kli. On that, Reb Zilberstein said that although after you light it, it's not roy and it's not considered meichel behema. However, at the time you prepare it, royal achila, so it should not have a chasar of tikun kli. And he says, especially if you put a silver lining between the oil, the candle, it won't become moist, and therefore shouldn't have an issa of tikun kli. And Beitzah Zilberstein says that David Landau Shlita asked, that's more now sugya, that Chof Ches, that it is also and is beimeshut tikun kli, even though you misakin kli on ochel, because the Gemara says that's also to make a base yad, to make a handle out of meat on yontiv. So you see, even though the meat is ochel, nevertheless you can't make a handle out of the meat. Rashi says this is because it's der ochel, and the Ran says the issur is because it's mechzik tikun kli. And the person can learn from this sugi that you can't make on afikoymen a hole, a round hole, or a hole like a Magen David, to hold the afikoymen that was a schooler to hang up afikoymen. And the same way you can't make a base yad, you can't make a handle on the meat on yontif wood, then you can't make a hole, a round hole, or a hole like a Magen David, stam a hole, it's mashmat's mutter. However, to make a hole, a round hole, or like a Magen David, it's awesome. And Beitzah says that emes it's shver the two sugis, because over here it's mavur that there is an issa of tikun kli on yontif by ochel, and shver for the Gemara Daf Lamed Gimel. So Beitzah says over here it's also because the only way to be misakin the ochel is in this fashion is gufa, to misakin the gufa ochel, to make a handle in the meat or to make a hole in the afikoymen. Specifically in such a situation is beimishum tikun kli by ochel. However, if you're preparing something that doesn't have to be made dafka through ochel, it would not have it as a tikun kli on ochel bochel. Moving further, the Mishnah says, Machshirei is a sakin yontif. You can't sharpen a knife on yontif. And the Gemara brings a machlokes Yehuda and Rabbanon. If Machshirei ochel nefesh is mutter also, that means, although everyone agrees you're allowed to shecht on yontif because that's tikun ochel nefesh itself, however, sharpening a knife, which is just preparing the knife for shechita, is considered Machshirei ochel nefesh, and according to Yehuda it's mutter. However, according to Rabbanon it's aser. Shlomo Zalman asks, that's hard to understand. Why is there machlokes by sharpening a knife that's considered Machshirei ochel nefesh? Why is it different than lighting a fire to cook? That everyone agrees to light a fire to cook is considered tikun ochel nefesh itself. Why is that considered tikun ochel nefesh? Let that be also told in the machlokes Yehuda and Rabbanon, and it's considered Machshirei ochel nefesh because the fire is just preparing the cooking on yontif, and let it be told in the machlokes of Machshirei ochel nefesh. On that, Shlomo Zalman says the difference is that since sharpening a knife is a derech to be prepared for many days, so therefore it's not considered like a tikun in this ochel nefesh. Specifically, it has a halacha of Machshirei ochel nefesh. However, to light a fire which you're preparing specifically for this ochel nefesh has a halacha of tikun ochel nefesh. Then he says a different svara that sharpening a knife, since the tikun will last even after The tikun ochel nefesh has halacha Machshirei ochel nefesh. However, preparing a fire which is used out after you prepare this meal has halacha of tikun ochel nefesh. It could be the understanding what he's saying is that when you're sharpening a knife, the malacha is done to the knife, and it's a attempts to prepare the knife for cooking, and now the hechsher of the shechita is done with the knife itself. However, when you light a fire, the lighting the fire is what itself is cooking. What cooks, that's considered a tikun in the ochel nefesh itself. The Ran asked, that's mavur in the sugya, that even a Rabbi Yehuda agrees, if you will sharpen a knife with a tool that's specifically made for sharpening a knife, a mashkin shel, even Rabbi Yehuda agrees it's also in Yontif, and he says tzorchi, and if Rabbi Yehuda is Machshirei ochel nefesh, why is it that he holds with the mashkin shel is also? So the Ran explains that the same way by ochel nefesh itself is also tchina and hakodah, because they're malachis that are also the yomim rabim, either it's the reis or the abonon. And since the melachis, that the derech is to prepare food for many days, it's also, and doesn't have a loch of tikun ochel nefesh. So the same thing by Machshirei ochel nefesh itself. When you sharpen a knife with a kli that's miyuchid, for sharpening a knife, it has a loch like a tikun kli, that's derech is to prepare a knife. Lamed liyamim rabim, and it's also, even according to Yehuda, to Machshirei ochel nefesh in such a situation. The Bnei Yeshua points out that this Ran is not like Tosis and Shabbos Daf Tzadik Dalar Malf that asks the kasha that you should be mutter to build a house on Yontif, because since it's mutter legabin, it's mutter to prepare cheese on Yontif, which is a total of boina, so it should be mutter to build as well on Yontif, because Mtoch Hutra bibinyan l'tzorich is mutter even l'tzorich, because there is a tikun tzas. And the Tosis says only also the abonon. So Bnei Yeshua says, you see, Tosis is not like the Ran, even though the bibinyan is made lamed liyamim rabim, and not specifically for the tzorich of the ochel nefesh of Yontif. Nevertheless, it's mutter, so it's not like the Ran. Moving further on, the Gemara says that grifas tana v'kiraim to shovel out oven is totally machlikas Yehuda. Rabbanan couldn't be Yehuda. The Machshirei ochel nefesh, it's mutter grifas tana v'kiraim mayontif. Tosis brings a reason before that the issa of grifas tana v'kiraim is because of ashvigumas, and Tosis is not mashma like that. Since the Gemara prepares it to sakin and shput, which is a tikun the kli, it's not mashma. The issa is ashvigumas, and Tosis says the chesaron is because of makabeh patish. It's referring to a new oven that was never used yet, and by taking out the bricks and the dirt, it's considered a is of makabeh patish. The Melechus Yontif points out that you see from this Tosis is not like the Ran, because the Tosis is learning that according to Yehuda it's mutter makabeh patish, and there's no is of makabeh patish, even though you're preparing a kli. And this is the final preparation of the Tana that's also lamed liyamim according to Yehuda. There's no iser makabeh patish, and it's not like the Ran that holds that in a situation you're doing a malach that's derech lamed liyamim rabim. It's also even according to Yehuda. Tosis continues and asks that besides for the iser makabeh patish, also because of muktzah, and Tosis says no, there's no iser muktzah for Machshirei ochel nefesh. The Achronim asked that tzorchi makabeh patish is a malachim deraisa. So what's Tosis kasha? That typically there's a iser muktzah. Ein mechashloim from Shlomo Zalman in Tshuvas Ber Yitzchak. We mentioned the shir. The Shabbos Daf Tzadik has a riches. The gabi the issa bibinyan on Yontif is awesome deraisa, awesome derabonon, and he says, what's the halacha if someone's sukkah falls down on the Yontif of sukkahs? Could he tell a goy to fix his sukkah on Yontif or not? Do you say it's a shvus to shvus makam mitzvah? If the whole issa bibinyan on Yontif is derabonon, it would be a shvus to shvus makam mitzvah. He discusses according to Tosis that we mentioned before in Shabbos that's mavur, that the whole issa bibinyan Yontif is only the abonon, the church should be mutter because it's a shvus to shvus makam mitzvah. And by Yitzchak asked that's tzorchi from Tosis by us that there is issa makabeh patish, And how could it be Issa Makabatish Midiraisa? The same way there's no Issa Binyan, and every Issa Binyan has in it a Makabatish, Shalkoch, you see, there's no Issa Makabatish Midiraisa, according to Taisus in Shabbos. So it's Serchi and Taisus by us that says there is Issa Makabatish. So he says, the understanding Taisus is that Makabatish means Makabatish Midabonon, however, Midiraisa there is no Issa Makabatish Bechlal. And the Beitzah proves that the whole Isser, according to Taisus, is Makabatish Midabonon and not the Raisa. From the fact that Taisus is a kasha, the typically that it should be Issa Muktzah and Serchi. What's Taisus kasha? Like I mentioned before, Makabatish Osam the Raisa and Issa Muktzah Midabonon. Sakorch, you see, the Beitzah says that the understanding of Taisus is the whole Issa Makabatish is Midrabonon and Midraisa. It's Mutter Makabatish, same way Binyan's Mutter because of Mtoch, and Chelik of Binyan is included in Makabatish. And that's what they say, that typically there's another Issa Midrabonon because of Issa Muktzah Ayin Shah.